What is up, Heffas and friends? Welcome to another episode of Triple J. If you're new here to this channel, how are you doing? My name is Jillian. Welcome to Java and Journeys. Now, y'all, this is a first for me. I am actually taking you with me to Chicago. We are going to the Windy City to check out Beyonce, as well as while we're in town, also getting to a bunch of different shenanigans, right? We're going to eat some good food, we're going to try some coffee shops, and really just get into what I have always envisioned for this channel is having great experiences while traveling. So this is actually my first time taking you all with me to the airport. I've never done this, y'all, but I wanted to switch things up a little bit because why call it Java and Journeys if I don't take you on a bit more of my journeys? And what's also a plus about this is that this is not a work trip. So I feel like I have a lot more flexibility to take you all on this adventure with me from start to finish. So buckle up, Buttercup. Let's head over to Chicago. Heffas, you already know. So this bee is clearly on a budget. We are flying Southwest, which shout out to Southwest. Although if you happen to miss my I think this was my second actually live walk and talk Wednesday, I talk about Southwest and how trifling they are for eliminating their free check bag policy, which I mean, I don't know. I mean, that is what made Southwest so special. I think not only is it a budget airline, but you can typically have 2 check bags. So you're not dealing with like the level of nickel and diming that you would get with Spirit or Frontier or some other budget airlines. They're eliminating that, but now they are changing it where instead of having like a boarding zone number and you're trying to like get in line and you're hoping that by the time you board, you're able to get a good seat, you will actually be able to have an assigned seat. There are some trade-offs there, y'all. I don't really like it. I do like them having assigned seats. I don't like them getting rid of the check bag policy, but that's neither here nor there. We are flying Southwest today and fully taking advantage of the free check bags while they still have it. And to give you just a little bit of a preview, I was really shook, y'all, because typically flying out of Orlando is nuts. And the reason why it's crazy is because this is a very heavy, like touristy visited city with Disney, with Universal, with SeaWorld, all the different attractions that you can do here in Florida. If you find yourself flying through Orlando, definitely give yourself plenty of time. I think because we are flying toward the end of the week, it's not Friday though, we have a little bit more flexibility where we were actually able to get through. We have TSA pre-check, we have clear, because your girl isn't playing. I was able to get through super fast and easy, which typically is not the case. Typically all the lines are backed up flying out of Orlando, again, because of just everyone coming here for their vacations and just to hang out. So just be cognizant of that if you're coming through here. I am flying out of Terminal A. Terminal A is the budget B for all my budget Heffas terminal. So you have, I want to say Spirit's over here, Avelo Airlines, perhaps Breeze, Southwest, all the budget airlines are over here. But what's great is that I think this terminal is actually very bright. It's actually quite nice for it to be the terminal for the budget airlines. I actually think this is quite nicer than the terminal that I have typically flown out of if I'm flying United. I have to travel quite a bit to the West Coast to San Francisco for work occasionally, so I always find myself having to take either United to get to the West Coast, but then I'll swap up and sometimes I'm able to get Delta or Alaska Airlines coming back. And that terminal, I want to say typically is Terminal C, which is all right. Like Terminal C is really not that great. I actually think Terminal A has a lot more to offer. You have some great food choices. You'll see over in the distance, you have Mike's Subs, you have Asian restaurants, Chipotle, McDonald's, so all your basics. And we're, of course, are going to actually start our culinary journey. First pit stop is at Cask and Larder. So fortunately, we did not have to wait very long at all. And here's the menu in case you're curious. And this is a pretty straightforward menu for breakfast. Y'all, am not terribly hungry, so I think in the spirit of Java and Journeys, you all know I'm going to go straight for the coffee and get that single espresso because I'm probably going to grab another coffee before the flight. And I may just pick a little bit off of whatever my co-producer and sister decide to pick up. And then on the opposite side, you'll just see basically all of their cocktails, wines, and beers. So I think that this could be a potentially great option if, let's just say, you're not interested in getting any of the quick service. We're going to be here a little bit before we're actually able to board our flight. So I figured why not just go ahead and get a table, sit down, chill out, grab a little coffee before we head over to a couple of grab and go stations and board our flight. So my espresso has arrived and nothing really special to look at. It is served in a basic coffee cup, the Barney's logo. Let's check out what's going on under the hood and see if this single shot espresso has a bit of crema in it, because you all know, now I'm not a coffee connoisseur, but I do love good coffee, and espresso is no different. And I do appreciate here, like there is like that nice golden amber color at the top, a little bit of crema. So this is nice. This looks like a, decently pulled shot. Now I have had my espresso with just like a little bit of sugar. Sometimes I just drink it straight up. I think right now I'm probably just going to sip on it a little bit since I'm going to be chilling here at this table for a little while. So y'all, you know what we have to do here at Java and Journeys. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this journey to Chicago. And y'all, that actually tastes really good. So I'm happy with that. And for those of you all who may be wanting to dab a little bit more in up your espresso game, I love Doppio espressos, which is just a double shot of espresso or a single shot as like a pick-me-up. It can be very bitter. So I recommend that if, let's just say, you want to get into your single shot or Doppio espressos, or even if you go with like a flat white, add a little bit of sugar to make it that much sweeter, because otherwise you are going to get a little bit of that bitterness. But I like the taste of espresso, so I'm just going to continue to sip on this until the food comes out. The food just came out. So my co-producer ordered the biscuits and gravy, as well as a side of scrambled eggs, while my sister is deciding to stick with a classic BLT here with side of, that traditional whole hash brown. And it looks like the BLT has an egg here with tomato, bacon, and lettuce. So listen, my co-producer wanted me to call out that yes, he is going with the heavier breakfast, and always that's something that you need to be thoughtful of. So be cognizant of that, especially before you get on a flight. And again, going back to like the espresso pool, you know how espresso and strong coffee can affect the digestive system. So be cognizant of all of those things. Now, if I had ordered breakfast, I'm just going to eat off of what they have because I'm not super hungry right now. I probably would have gone with something more like what my sister has, or maybe just like a simple pancake or French toast. I typically don't like eating a heavy breakfast first thing in the morning. That's just a habit of mine, but I do love breakfast food. I love brunch. So I love like late morning, early afternoon breakfast eating instead of like first thing in the morning, where I prefer to get a coffee instead. And I think I've talked about this in some of my other videos, that typically during the weekday before work, I actually just end up getting like a water and making some green tea because I want to get myself fully hydrated. And then once I get my water and my tea on, then I fix a coffee, and then I'll probably have like lunch. I do not eat great. I'm going to just tell you all that right now. And when I say I don't eat that great, I mean like I'm not the kind of person that eats like the traditional 3 meals a day where you have like a balanced breakfast. And technically speaking, and those of you all who are nutritionists or really into nutritional health, like correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what the research shows is that you should actually eat your heavier meals earlier in the day and your dinner should be the lightest. I oftentimes end up skipping breakfast altogether, and this is just a terrible habit because I just start working and I'm glued to my computer until lunch, and then like I may like drink a protein drink, or like my lunch ends up being fairly light, or making like some soup or whatever. And then dinner always ends up being a bit heavier for me. That's always my heaviest meal, even though I know it should actually be flipped. And then the weekends, I feel like none of the rules apply. So typically on the weekends, I will drink some water, start my day off with a coffee, and then like whatever we have planned for the day is what I typically go with when it comes to eating. But how do you all typically eat before a flight? Drop down in the comments. Let me know. I'm curious. Do you typically like eating a big breakfast if you are flying early in the mornings, or do you typically like take it easy, just like grab a water, grab something that's small, quick, head to your flight, and then choose to get something a little bit heavier when you get to your destination? Let me know. We are getting ready to board our flight, and you all know, again, we are going for our second coffee drink for the day here at Starbucks. You can, what is awesome, actually mobile order, which I highly recommend if you're going to drink and get Starbucks. So anytime you're traveling, whether that's to Orlando or any of your other airports, check and see if Starbucks has mobile ordering, because if you're lucky and it's available, just place that order in when you are getting closer to the Starbucks, and that way you're not going to have to wait as long. I ordered the brown sugar oat milk cortado to complement basically that single espresso shot that we had at Cask and Larder. So let's go ahead and pick up our cortado. We have our cortado. Cheers. Here's to another Java number 2 and many more in our journey over to Chicago. Yeah, they made this one really good today. And y'all, I'm a little nervous because it's been a while since I've flown Southwest. I am not looking forward to dealing with the zoning issue, but I did get the early bird check-in. I am like in the A zone, I think like 50th place in line. So that's actually pretty good. So I'm hoping that the exit row is clear. If the exit row is completely full by the time I get on the plane, then we'll just occupy some seats toward the front. So either of those I'd be totally satisfied with. Better preference for the exit because, you know, we like to stretch our legs out here a little bit. And everyone's already in position. So we are going to do the same. Getting on this flight, everyone. We are seated, and hell no, we did not get an exit row seat, and hell no, we were not able to sit toward the front. I was joking with my sister, I'm like, this is your fault, because it was just the co-producer and I traveling. We could have sat toward the front or an exit row, but that's okay. I do anything for the people that I love.
Good morning, welcome on board. The families who have just boarded.
But we're not all.
I
am not lying, y'all. Does this look like the face of someone that would lie to you? Absolutely not. Wow. Whatever. Listen, so always, you all know how I am about sanitizing. So do not play yourself, okay? Do not play yourself. You come with your hand sanitizer, you come with your wipes. Every time, y'all, I get on a plane, and my sister and I especially are really good about this. We have our wipes. We wipe down our tray table. We wipe down the armrest. And if we have more time, we'll wipe down the seats where we had to immediately go ahead and get to the row and sit down. That's okay. Getting the tray table done and getting the armrest wiped down is good enough for me. Also, if you're able to wipe down your headrest as well, we just did that. So that way we're at least in a somewhat sanitized environment. So we are going to sit back, relax, and the vibes are feeling good on this Southwest flight. Like everyone's kind of like in a laughing, joking mood, which is always awesome. And this is, to me, quite fun because again, my co-producer and I used to fly Southwest all the time, especially when I was in undergrad and graduate school. And so it's kind of nice to be back on Southwest again, to get to Chicago. I'm feeling good. We're going to get this show on the road, and the flight's only going to take a few hours, so we're not even going to be on the plane that long, relatively speaking. So looking forward to seeing you all when we land in Chicago. We have made it to Chicago, and we are staying at the Meridien which I have stayed at this hotel chain before, but let's go in and check out the Chicago location. The last location I stayed in was actually, I want to say it was right outside of LA, and I really like this hotel, so let's see what the check-in is like. And we are here early, so I don't know if our room is ready, so fingers crossed, so that way we can go ahead and get settled in a little bit and grab something to eat. We have our bags dropped off at our hotel room. I'm super grateful that we were able to go ahead and check in early. Now we are over at the Oakbrook Center to get some grub, because of course Chicago has some eateries, some that are local and then some that are chains, but places that I have heard of or not seen. So one place I'm interested in is Nando's, which I have heard Nando's be talked about in the UK. I know it's a very popular chain in the UK, and my co-producer was saying that he thinks that it's probably started in South Africa, but either way, they have a few Nando's in the US, but definitely not anywhere located near me. So I'm super interested in maybe checking that out. And then you all know, maybe we'll go for lucky coffee number 3. While we're here, there's a couple of cafes that also have a pretty good reputation that I'm looking forward to trying. And then we will conclude the first part of our journey at that and continue the good times by getting into even more shenanigans. I'm super excited about checking out this center because it does look really nice. At least from the outside, I see a lot of, like the bougie stores, Container Store, Neiman Marcus, and a few other at least outwardly appearing steakhouses. So it's going to be interesting to see what the inside of this place looks like. Let's talk about the Meridien for 2.2 seconds. So y'all, I think like bougie adjacent. So I love nice things. I don't want to go broke trying to acquire said nice things. So based upon what we saw in the pictures and then the room, the room is clean, it's fine. But I think in my head, because, a lot of hotels are always going to put their nicest rooms online. I was expecting a lovely walk-in shower and just like a little bit different feel and vibe to the room. It's all very basic, but we booked a standard room. So it's like, Heffa, what did you expect? All true. You all are more than welcome to judge me, but it makes me wonder, and sound off in the comments, would you rather pay for first class, have a really nice flight in an okay hotel, or would you rather do a budget airline, save a bit money on your flight, and have a really nice, luxurious hotel experience? I think I'm starting to get to a place now. I do love flying the few times that I'm able to do it. If I can get an upgrade, or if not getting a free upgrade because of points, if the upgrade is within my price range. I love flying business class. I also, though, if I had to pick between the two, I feel like for me, I would rather pick like the bougie hotel, flying like Southwest, Frontier, Avello, Breeze, any of the budget airlines, Spirit, versus splurging on the luxury flight and having an okay hotel. But what do you think? I have made a comment to my co-producer and sister. I'm like, when the three of us are traveling, it's like when you're traveling with all adults, you need space. And I'm like, I think the next time we book a hotel, I want to try to just like set the standard unless it's something just outrageously, ridiculously expensive. Get a suite so that when we have a little couch, there's just a bit more space. I kind of felt cramped walking in there because it's been a while since the three of us have actually traveled to stay at a hotel somewhere. But that's not going to put a damper on our good time. We sanitized our room. Y'all know I travel with a full can of Lysol, baby. My sister and I both too. We believe in the power of Clorox and Lysol. So I have my Lysol wipes. We're wiping down surfaces, spraying everything. My husband was coughing and I was like, listen, babes, this is your lungs being cleaned and being sanitized. Wink, wink. Do not, if you're sick or ill, do something stupid like spray Lysol over yourself or something crazy, or like our current occupant of the White House said, you know, inject yourselves with Lysol. That's so stupid and ridiculous. But I do believe in Lysol for sanitizing surfaces. And that is the thing that has totally helped us from getting sick. But needless to say, we are on a quest to get to the entrance of the mall. And just to give you an idea, we passed by like Levi's and a few other stores. Here's a restaurant here. Let's go ahead and make our way in. And I think a lot of the places that we're hoping to go to, it's in like the food court. But we'll see. This looks like really lovely. So I am definitely happy that we picked this location. We're staying in the Oakbrook suburb instead of staying downtown Chicago, because y'all, for those of you all that have actually booked a hotel downtown Chicago, let me know. Did you pay like thousands of dollars? I was shook at the prices. So I have a good friend who lives in Minnesota, and he was like, girl, you need to stay in Oakbrook. So I looked it up and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's not lying. Downtown Chicago is ridiculously expensive, especially you have like Beyonce in town. I was like, absolutely not. I am just we're gonna stay in the suburb, and we're gonna take Uber, we're gonna take public transit. I'm hoping to take the train at some point, but that's what we're gonna do. And here's more of the Oakbrook Center. You see Chanel across, Madewell, so a lot of premium stores to shop at. You have Sephora. So this is quite exciting and just good to know and call out and flag. So I'll let you know what I think by the very end of my trip, but I would highly suggest, especially if you're trying to travel to Chicago on a budget, stay in the suburbs, because especially suburbs that have access to public transit, the Ubers aren't going to be crazy ridiculously expensive. You could also rent a car as well, but I'd rather do this and save some coin to do more experiences than, again, it goes back to that question. It's like that splurging all on one singular thing that could potentially impact your experience when you are traveling somewhere. So we're gonna continue through this maze. My gosh, y'all, like I see the Crate and Barrel and it warms my heart, because there's not a Crate and Barrel in Orlando, Florida. The closest Crate and Barrel is actually in Tampa, which is flipping annoying because I love me some Crate and Barrel. And I see y'all, it's so good that I have a suitcase and I can't actually like shop, because this would be so dangerous for me to be able to have access to Pottery Barn, to Crate and Barrel. Like, are you kidding me? Being able to like go to these stores that I love. And when we lived in Seattle, we actually lived like in walking distance of Pottery Barn, Crate and Barrel. And I was in my bougie bag all the time. And I loved it so much. So being able to come out here again, this is the Oakbrook Center, super lovely. And I feel like I'm going to window shop my heart out here. I don't know if you all noticed, but Crate and Barrel has a restaurant called The Table. I've actually never seen a Crate and Barrel with a restaurant. I've seen Nordstrom have restaurants or like places to get a quick bite. Let me tell you, the place I love to eat, Restoration Hardware, has some just like beautiful restaurants. And I had a friend who put me on to the Restoration Hardware restaurants. You know who you are out there. And the first really nice Restoration Hardware restaurant she took me to is in San Francisco, and it was basically built in what was a like old bank, but like a beautiful bank with like architecture. And so Restoration Hardware came in and they turned it around. Beautiful. Most recently, on my trip to San Francisco, we went to the Restoration Hardware restaurant that's located in Napa. And it was so gorgeous and beautiful. And I just felt like this is the life I'm meant to live. It was so awesome. And so seeing that Crate and Barrel has a restaurant, I'm like, y'all, I know that it's probably basic, right? But like, I'm curious about it. Also, there is a Restoration Hardware restaurant here. And I told my husband, I'm like, we have to do it because I feel like anywhere I go, if there's a Restoration Hardware restaurant, it's just such a nice ambiance. So we'll see if we'll actually get to that. I'm enthusiastic about doing it, and so we'll see. Should I? I'm not going to do that. All right, so we are entering in the district, which of course is the food hall area over here in the Oakbrook Center. And we are going to search for Nando's as well as some other options. Actually, I see Nando's right across the way. This actually looks, and y'all, my expectations, this is way nicer than what I thought, just in terms of the area. And I just assumed when I heard about Oakbrook Center, this was just gonna be like a standard mall. This is really beautiful, and the weather is really lovely right now. It is going to get colder while we're in Chicago. I'm actually looking forward to that because you know me, I love cold weather. But I am really loving just like the vibes. And we also have Jenny's ice cream. Ooh, y'all, I love Jenny's. If you've never had Jenny's before, try them out. They are so good. But let's go ahead and get into Nando's. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Y'all, look at how beautiful Nando's looks. I feel so stupid because maybe I should have done my research. I just was expecting for Nando's to be like a quick service, walk up, order it, kind of like when you go to any other food court in the mall. This is actually a lot lovelier, and I'm happy that we have the opportunity to just kind of sit down, decompress. Let's check out this menu. So, Nando's is known mostly for their, and look at this, so cute. They're known for their chicken. Look at how good those wings are. And I think because I didn't have such a big breakfast, my mouth is watering right now. But I am going to take a closer look. That peri-peri chicken looks good too. Bowls and salads. They also have wraps. So I am going to peruse this menu, y'all, and let you know what I end up ordering. Here's also the drinks, and something to note is that they actually have house-made lemonade. This cocktail is looking quite delightful and delicious as well. And something that I've never seen before is this Naughty Nate, which is a Portuguese custard tart. I may try that just because that's something entirely new and different that I've never experienced. The food has just arrived and my mouth is watering. So we went with the peri-peri chicken, the whole chicken, and we're just splitting everything. So we have our delicious chicken here with the medium sauce, along with some cauliflower, macaroni and cheese, as well as a half avocado. To our sides, we have grilled pineapple, we have some Brussels sprouts over here, as well as some fries. So you all see that we're trying to strike a good balance. we have our carbs, our proteins, our fruit, our veggies. I think we've crossed off all the major food groups. Also, I am drinking a lavender lemonade, which is so good. It's not super sweet. Of course, it's all made natural in-house. So cheers, everyone. Let's go ahead and take a sip and get our grub on. I wanted to show you all a closer up view of my mini plate. The chicken, our veggies with the cauliflower, some Brussels sprout action, a little bit of mac and cheese, and just a few fries, just to, you know, try it out. We got our little slice of avocado here. I literally, like, my mouth is watering. I am going to go ahead and start with this chicken because Nando's is known for their sauce. So you can get, you know, something unsauced all the way down to like a low heat, all the way up to like a XXX hot heat. We decided to stick with the medium just to try it out, but we also got a few sauces on the side just to see what it's like. So let's try out our Nando's with the medium sauce. Y'all, that peri-peri chicken, juicy, it's flavorful. That medium sauce is so good. I actually think I could probably go up one more spice level, but it's seasoned so well, y'all. Now, the cauliflower, as you may have noticed, is topped with like a bit of peanut, but it's a roasted cauliflower, which also, y'all, cauliflower seasoned well, great flavor. I'm like in my happy place right now. Let's try the Brussels sprout. And I don't know if you all have experienced this. Anytime I've had Brussels sprouts before, sometimes they can be either overcooked or undercooked. Let's see what these are giving. Maybe just like slightly overcooked, but overall love the flavor. And then, you know, the avocado is avocado, y'all. Now, this mac and cheese has a bit of breadcrumb. I'm not typically a fan of breadcrumbs on top of macaroni and cheese, but my co-producer is a huge lover of mac and cheese. I wanted to give this a try. Macaroni and cheese is good. It's actually probably my least favorite. I like the Brussels sprouts and the cauliflower in terms of sides way more than macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese is all right. It's like a white cheddar. I'm also not a big fan of white cheddar. So that's just me. But this chicken, everything's great. Thank you. This chicken is everything. Okay. You all heard my thoughts. I'm so excited. I'm gonna let you all go now so I can finish eating this plate. Now that I have stuffed my face, I am going to try this tart that I was talking all about that has like the Portuguese custard in it. We'll see if that is any good. And let's look at the inside of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut into this. And you see the color of the custard. And the tart is actually like, not like a pie crust, but actually more like a Danish, like a croissant. I'm actually gonna go for the custard first. And look, that's not, there's no jiggle in that. So let's try this. I like the color at the top. And it wasn't like a creme brulee, like, you know how it cracks? My fork just went like straight through, but I was surprised because I thought the crust would be more like a pie crust and less like a croissant crust. But let's get into this. It's warm. It has a really nice vanilla flavor. I'm gonna get some of the breading and try this. And you can see here, if my zoom will cooperate, that the bottom of this is brown, cooked through. That is delicious. That kind of reminds me a little bit of like a bread pudding. That's what that's giving. Absolutely delicious. And that was only like a few bucks. It was a lot smaller than what I thought, but honestly, I think after you've eaten damn near a whole chicken, you don't really need this massive dessert to give you that bit of sweetness to complete your meal on. Friends, I wanted to stop by one of the coffee shops here in the district, but I am so full from Nando's. It is time to take a little bit of a walk. So I'm going to do just that. Keep on sticking with me with the next journey. We're actually going to be headed over to the art museum here in Chicago, which is very renowned. I'm looking forward to getting my walk on, and then perhaps after I burn off some of the calories from all the chicken that I've eaten, I will then go grab some Java, because after taking that flight, y'all, and getting up so early, I've been up since about 5:30 a.m. I feel like I could just pass out right now, and not because I feel awful from the meal. I feel really good. The chicken was awesome. It's just more so just being up all day, right? So I'm looking forward to crashing out after the museum and hopefully getting in our coffee fix. But with that being said, friends, what did we learn today? Well, we learned that your girl is trying to be the ultimate globetrotter right now. We also learned that it is important to travel with your sanitizer. And we also learned that it may be preferable to splurge a little bit more on your hotel and keep sticking with those budget airlines if you're bougie on a budget like me. Y'all, thank you for joining me on this adventure. I'll catch you on the next one while we're here in Chicago. See ya. Bye.